See you guys in 2 hours, bros.
Yeah, going live. All right, we're back. We're back. Going to continue the Reddit talk here. Sounds like Steven has a bunch of questions still on his little notepad there. So we gonna continue, Steven?
I'm
Sure.
nervous.
Okay. All right. This is my trademark. This is a really complicated issue. It can be looked at from a lot of different sides. There are a lot of different people with a lot of different stakes, a lot of different amounts of money being made by different amounts of people. Right? It's a very, very multifaceted issue.
Okay.
Okay. Firstly, this is something that is crucial to understand. Everybody has to understand this because this is central to how everything on Reddit operates. If you're a content creator, if you're somebody that wants to manipulate the system, if you're somebody who's part of a community, this is important to understand, okay? The way that the algorithm weighs upvotes and downvotes via the hot thing, which is like the default front page, it's absolutely crucial that you understand that to know how stuff gets to the front page, right? So I don't have links to the exact numbers or anything, but it's like the first 10 upvotes, or the first 10 upvotes in like the first minute is worth as much as the next 100 upvotes in 10 minutes, which is worth as much as the next 1,000 upvotes in 60 minutes. That's why if you look at the front page of an article that's been there for a long time, like if I go to the StarCraft subreddit, I'll see something where like, hey, the BlizzCon thing that was submitted 4 hours ago with only 128 upvotes is higher than the Stefano playing a WCS qualifiers with twice as many upvotes submitted twice as long ago, right?
Yeah, I mean it's meant to be ephemeral. So even the Reddit site itself downvotes, like auto downvotes.
Yeah,
right?
that's to fuzz. I don't even honestly know why they do it anymore. But yeah, the Reddit downvotes automatically too. But it's really irrelevant. Okay, it has no bearing on what I'm talking about. Basically, what I'm saying is upvotes early mean way more than upvotes later. Okay, understanding that is like central to understanding everything about how the upvoting and the downvoting are. It's really fucking important. Okay, so one of the things that we keep talking about is why can't people just submit their own content, like let the community decide, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's really easy to say that, and in some worlds I can understand how that would be true, but to look at a real life example of like how this can be abused, and this all of this kind of ties together. So I'm talking about kind of everything. But earlier we talked about how dumb it is for like check marks and shit, right? Like if you've got a check mark in the r StarCraft subreddit, like you automatically get upvoted to the stars. It doesn't matter what the fuck you say. I can pop into a thread and I can go, wow, bro, what a 9 out of 11 post, and I'll get upvoted like to karma heaven, right? For no fucking reason, because people know me. And it's not even the worst on the StarCraft subreddit, actually. If you look at like the League of Legends subreddit, every single fucking time there's an Ask Me Anything, every single fucking time, guaranteed, the top upvoted thing is always going to be another pro gamer making a fucking inside joke. It'll be some bullshit about how like Dyrus is like, ask me anything, like my parents just got shot and murdered and I'm going through emotional trauma right now. And like the top upvoted post will be like KX going, I love your pillow, Dyrus, XD, XD. Like every single, like, so if you're famous or you're popular, you already get like a ton of weight behind your shit, right? Which again kind of ties into everything. Okay, so the example that I bring up about people that only post their content to Reddit and nothing else. You've got somebody. Everybody here knows who Athene is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Athene actually had to wrestle a lot with Reddit because of stuff that was going on with him, where pretty much all he would do is I don't want to say flood or spam, but he would only post his material to the League of Legends subreddit, and that's all he would do. He would post and he would post and he would post. But the weird thing was that every time he would post content, not only would he post it, but like if you go to the posted content, like the YouTube video or whatever, you could look under the information section, and it would say like, hey, like check out if you want to comment, you go to here on Reddit. So the weird thing that was happening was that Athene, somebody whose content might not have otherwise been posted to the subreddit, would post content to the subreddit, and then content that might not have otherwise been upvoted is starting to be upvoted because he's supposed to link back on said material. Yeah. So now you get into this really weird world where it's like, okay, well, like if famous people are allowed to post their stuff to subreddits, and then they kind of call on their army, Total Biscuit has gotten in trouble in the past for this too, they kind of call their army to come and upvote it. Now we're in like a really weird world where the front page of our League of Legends or of any particular subreddit is really just the famous person who happens to be posting all of their stuff there. And then you kind of see, when you look deep into the Reddit subreddit, actually, you don't have to look that deep. I think most people who are seriously into Reddit or people who are interested in Reddit, if you like browse the theory of Reddit subreddit a lot, the upvote and the downvote system are fundamentally broken. Like the upvote downvote system is so broken that most subreddits now have adopted a policy of trying to hide the upvotes and downvotes in comments until like a certain amount of time has passed, because everybody knows that the upvote downvote system is incredibly broken. Remember that thing I said earlier about how early upvotes are worth more than later ones? That's why things like graphical memes or image memes or whatever bullshit or short one-liners, that content is favored over longer content because you can look at it easily, quickly, digest it, upvote, and move on. Exactly, and that kind of stuff generates way more upvotes, way more quickly than like a long article that you've got to read. And by the time you read it, fucking, I mean, let's be real now. If you guys have ever posted an article with multiple pages, you can go in and look at the page views, right? Page 1 has 34,000 clicks.
All the
page
time.
2 has like 4,000 clicks, right? If you're lucky, right? You lose a lot of people who don't read all the way through, right? It's just
why we stopped. It's why we stopped doing pages.
Yeah, sure. And even if people don't read to the end, at least you can lie to yourself, like, okay, I got 34 hits, maybe, or 34,000, you know, maybe all the people read. But like we know, like not everybody. So like it takes longer for that stuff to reach the top too. So like the upvote downvote system fundamentally favors like long stuff anyway, you know. But the problem, there's so much of a problem with people who will take Reddit and who will almost hijack. You can almost hijack subreddits and turn it into your own promotional platform, and then the community kind of gets fucked a little bit over that. Like one of the things that Richard kept saying was like, oh, like, well, we're part of the community can decide, the community can decide. If your content reaches the front page, you've already kind of almost made it in some communities, depending on the content. For instance, like if you were to post like a decent article and you post it to a subreddit and then you don't really do anything, then it just fizzles out. You'll get like fucking less than 100 viewers, right? Or less than 100 clicks on that page. But if you post it and like you post it to like your Twitter, your Skype group, like, hey guys, like I just posted my article, like why don't you like go click it or just like check it out, and you get like 20 upvotes really fast to bump it up and it gets front page, it might not get as much attention, but because it's on the front page, people are more likely to upvote it. And now that 100-view article, you were able to sneak away with 5,000 views just because it got to that front page right away. Just because you posted it and you told your friends and your coworkers, maybe you tweeted about it. So like you see, like when you get to talking about
but technically, Stephen, you're not allowed to do that.
That's not allowed to do. Yeah, you're not allowed to ask for upvotes, right?
Yeah, but that's another problem. Is that what is upvote brigading? It gets really hazy when you start talking to people about it. Like for instance, I've seen some Reddit admins, not moderators, but admins of the entire site, because I've seen a lot of the conversations going between them and Total Biscuit, public ones. You can read the postings on Reddit, where it'll be like something where like if Total Biscuit were to post like a something on his Twitter saying something like, hey guys, come upvote me here, that's not allowed. But if he posts something on Twitter where it's just like, hey, check out this Reddit thread, that is allowed, unless they've changed that recently. Like, the upvote brigading gets really weird. Or, like, where they say, like, you're not supposed to, like, throw it to, like, a whole group of people.
On Gamers is no longer allowed, like, their staff is no longer, if my understanding is correct, to post any Reddit links.
Yeah, exactly. But like it's so weird the way that they like what's defined as an upvote brigade is like really awkward, because according to them, even if you post the link to like 3 or 4 friends and you say, hey, go upvote this, that's technically not allowed. But if you throw the link into like your own personal fan base of 50,000, or like if I were to tweet out to 30,000 people like, hey guys, just go check this Reddit article out, and I don't actually tell them to upvote it, that's supposed to be okay. So like it's really weird how they handle all of that, you know? Like what counts as upvote.
Yeah, I agree with you on that on that front. But what I will say is, just to come back to an earlier point you made, you talk about how it's like, I don't know, famous people can sort of leverage subreddits to well, you know, right, okay, if you're a community member, like someone like Total Biscuit, right? Like he's built up this following for himself by working extremely hard and producing lots of good content. I don't necessarily have a problem with him then tweeting a Reddit link and him getting a bunch of upvotes from his fans, because those fans, A, they're part of the community, and B, it's a fucking struggle to build up any following, any fan base. I think that's valid. You know, like,
well, here, can I ask you a quick question on that? Let me ask you a quick question on that. Let's say a new game, Heroes of the Storm, is founded, okay? And and now it's an opportunity for a whole bunch of new people to get involved in shit, and all these new people try to play the game, they want to make a name for themselves, and then all of a sudden you've got, you know, this new subreddit with, say, tremendously popular, 500,000 subs, everything else. But now you've got people like Total Biscuit who are constantly self-promoting and then or self-posting, then promoting on Twitter. And it's like, fuck, like I have no I don't know what the community wants. All I know is that Total Biscuit has brought all of his fans here, and they've all upvoted his shit, and now I have no chance of making it. You know, like if you're just like a no-name or nobody, like I mean, I theoretically I could do the same thing. Walk into any community. I kind of did it with Eve for a little bit. Walk into a no-name community and post your stuff, and all of a sudden all of my fans come over, and now all of my shit gets upvoted. I was in the Eve content spotlight for a week, which to some people, I guess some people like it a lot. Some people don't care, but there are a lot of people who were maybe rightfully kind of pissed. Like, why the fuck does Destinator, like, he hasn't contributed shit to the community? And I mean, that's absolutely true. I haven't contributed shit to the Eve community, but I was able to get a spotlight on their article just because of the fans that I brought over upvote me. So, like, in some ways, like, it's easy to look at it and go, well, look, like, when we submit articles, we're contributing to the community. Kind of, but that's not necessarily true. Like, it's possible that you can just bring your fans over and you actually kind of terraform the community into what you want it to be by bringing over the people that you want to upvote stuff and kind of change what's on the front page of any given stuff.
I can kind of see that as a, you know, like a cul-de-sac of the argument. But, you know, just to put it in, again, a personal perspective, my stuff generally will make the fucking front page of the League of Legends subreddit, whether I submit it personally or not. I consider myself to be like, you know, I haven't got a big fucking following. I'm just a dude who's been around for a long time and just writes, you know, like, and for whatever reason, my stuff strikes a chord with people. Like, even if they want to fucking flame it and call me an asshole, or like, you know, we can go down the road of me having to explain what a fucking editorial is again every fucking week. You know, but it gets the votes. It's not suppressed by other people existing in the same space as me, and I don't necessarily think I leverage people to upvote my shit, and I don't think I have enough pull to even do that. Someone in the chat commented there, you know, like, you've only got 10 fans. He's not wrong. So
well, I mean, let's just.
So I think you know, I kind of think it's almost fair. Like, if you're popular, you're popular for a reason.
Well, I mean, it sucks because it is good and it is bad, and like, let's just talk about, like, you know, the Unfiltered thread, right?
Right.
I mean, either I go and post that and let everybody know that it filters today, because, I mean, as many of you guys that watch the show each and every week, you guys still forget when it is. You know, I don't know how many times I get asked, you know, on Twitter or wherever, like, when's Unfiltered? And a lot of people rely on Reddit for that. So, you know, my thread, a lot of people rely on just to even see it that it is today. You know, I'm not bringing fans over here just to upvote and shit like that, but, you know, I am posting a Reddit thread on my show, right, about my show. And just, like, again, just kind of throwing it out there and letting people know. And they get upvoted, they don't, right? You know, for me to have to go and, like, just tweet it nonstop and try to get somebody indirectly to post something on Reddit about Unfiltered being on today, that just seems very stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
for you to what?
Like, if I'm have to get somebody else in the community to post it, in the way I do it would be, like, you know, to tweet it and, like, let people know to the point where they would just, like, be, I guess, motivated to go and post a Reddit thread that Unfiltered's on today. Seems a little bit weird to me. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, but that's the other thing, right? So I can't tell people to submit my stuff on my behalf, right? I'm breaking a rule, right? So. And then I guess it's not so much of a leap to say I can't remind somebody to do it, right? Because that's, you know, gentle coercion or whatever. I don't get why. And again, it's what I was talking about earlier. Like, right? If you want your content creators, and, you know, there's like what, nearly 3,000 people watching this show. And you probably enjoy it, or maybe you don't, and you've just come to fucking rubberneck and gawk, and you're getting some free entertainment, or whatever your reason for being here, right? One of you assholes needs to pony the fuck up and post the VODs, or post a link to the thing. Like, why is it so bad to put a little bit of responsibility on the community? Like, if you profess to love the content, why is it I've got to fucking self-submit? No, it's super rare. It's super rare.
It's gotta be super funny.
Rare.
Super funny.
Honestly, it's like, it's the rarest thing. Like, you know, literally, I've gone down this route myself. Like, I'd rather not self-submit anything I do. I'd rather, I mean, again, in an ideal world, because I just can't be bothered having the argument with the fucking Reddit mods. You know, like having to bang my head against that fucking brick wall over and over again. I'd rather there were people out there that were like, you know what, Richard Lewis has wrote something. I maybe don't like the dude, or maybe I do like the dude, or whatever. But you know, like he's raised some interesting points, and Reddit's about free form and open discussion. So I'm going to submit his work to that subreddit. But you don't fucking do it. You don't do it. You don't care enough to take the 2 minutes it takes to fucking click a link and upload it to Reddit. And a community creates a big part of the fucking problems that we're all discussing right now by simply not supporting the content creators. Like, they cannot fucking absolve themselves of responsibility for it. Just submit a fucking link once in a while, you fucking lazy assholes. Like, seriously.
Cody, you seem like you want to say something here.
Well, Reddit's easily gameable. So I've worked
definitely
at IGN, which was banned from Reddit. Banned in Reddit when I worked for him too. Maybe I'm the bad luck thing. So On Gamers and EG. So I've been a part of. I don't want to say up brigades, but there's like some circle jerking. So like there are some tricks of the trade in the community that people will do. You can even look back at like some people's Twitter comments. Like and here's the thing though. Everyone doesn't want to fess up to it, but everyone is guilty of it. All of the community websites do this. So, for example, like you never link directly to the URL because the algorithm catches that. You can tell that like, okay, this viewer came directly to the URL and like upvoted. You'll do weird, goofy things like, hey, check out this thing that we have going on, and then you link to our new. Everybody in the entire fucking world does this, like in the esports world anyway. Like they all get it. So it's just very bizarre thing, like the relationship that you have with Reddit, the weird goofy tricks that everyone has with Reddit, and everyone again does them. The On Gamers thing exacerbated the issue because like there was a lot of very good content on Gamers, but like there were some dubious practices happening with On Gamers, like then fucking everyone went insane and insulted the moderators, but like we also sort of like Reddit is critical from my understanding, like at least with On Gamers it is critical with On Gamers to like their traffic, and then I'm willing to guess that everyone else's traffic is also pretty dependent on Gamers. In a perfect world, like Richard says, everyone upvotes it, but like everyone's just like a lazy fuck. And then the problem is,
I'm not even talking about upvotes. I'm just talking about just fucking.
Well, it's a gotcha.
Submit it. Like, I mean, at least do that. I mean, holy shit! Like, it's not hard, man.
It's a gotcha sometimes. I catch-22 sometimes because it's like if somebody else goes and posts it, then they're fucking karma whores. You know, but then so they're expecting like, you know, the guy with the check mark to post
no. What Cody said earlier was absolutely true. It's not a catch-22. People are very fucking lazy and very fucking stupid. That's why the upvote system is broke. That's why the top two most famous subreddits are R Picks and R Funny, which are all one-liners, image macros, image memes. Easy, quick to digest material. You look at it, you absorb it, you have a quick laugh, and then you go back to your empty void of a life that you try to fill with more image memes, you know, second by second, and you click and click and click, and you're fucking addicted to the instant, like, zero gratification or instant gratification content that gives you no long-term satisfaction. Like, that's the average person on the internet, really, not Redditor, but 4chan is guilty of the same shit. Like, I mean, it's everybody on the fucking internet.
In 2010, I did an interview with Artosis that I like really liked and I worked really hard on. It was like when StarCraft really started to blossom, and on the subreddit, the interview itself got less upvotes than a meme from one of Artosis's answers on the subreddit. Yep. So I mean, like it speaks like the way people like this quick consumption. Like you just like to, you know, and it's frustrating at first, but again, like it just it is how it is. I guess that's what my pops would say.
Well, what's it going to take, right? I mean, seriously. Okay, so let's say this On Gamers thing had occurred, and they didn't get them banned from Reddit, right? And then they disappear, and all the people that like Travis's shit, and all the people who like Thorin's shit, and all the people who like Slash's shit, whatever it is Rod does, you know, all the people who like that content. That's a joke, right? Okay, I love Rod really. Okay, so you know, fucking all the people that like that content, those guys ain't working anymore. No one can afford to pick them up. Because there's not a lot of money in esports journalism. There's very few companies that can afford to support it to the degree that CBS Interactive have. So, you know, those guys would make Reddit threads going, oh my God, like, Reddit killed On Gamers. Well, okay, kinda, but you guys did as well. You guys played a part in that. You, the fucking community, played a part in it, because you won't just submit links to shit you like. I mean, and people in the chat going, yeah, but there's no incentive to do it. That's the incentive, you fucking morons. The incentive is you're supporting shit you like. Right? I'm not talking about all the cynical bullshit out there. Like, I'm gonna make you lure you onto a website, and then I'm gonna put a cookie or something fucking means that, you know, your ad block, turn your ad block off, give me some money. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about actually getting eyes on the content in the first fucking place, which is the first battle that needs to be fought. Like, let's not even talk about the ad block thing. Just fucking submit the content. Like, just submit it. Like, make it so if you enjoyed it and you sat there and, you know, you enjoyed an interview and you found it enlightening, just fucking submit it. Not just to Reddit, you know, put it out on your Facebook, tell people about it. But you won't even do that. You just chuckle and fucking move on. And, oh, look, there's a cat. Like, fuck off, seriously. Like, what I'm supposed to, you know, seriously, the people that operate like that are as big a part of the problem as any of the Reddit bullshit. And like, no one ever says that because everyone's just scared. Like, if you make the community responsible for their own bullshit, you're watching little bags of money just fucking fly away. Well, I don't make any money from you assholes. I'll call you out on your shit. If you want to support content creators, fucking do it the right way. You know, it's as simple as that.
All right, Steven, any more questions on that notepad of yours?
Well, the last thing I was going to write, well, I mean, just to mention what Richard said fast, I mean, it's a little bit pointless to rage at the community. I mean, it's a fact of life. A lot of people are saying that I'm being, like, super edgy or whatever, but I mean, I know Richard knows, I know Cody knows, and anybody that's not a fucking idiot or that's worked at all with anything having to do with internet promotions or even marketing in general knows that people are very quick to, or people are very more apt to consume very quick, easily digestible content that leaves them feeling good, that takes, like, less than 10 seconds to read versus reading a long article. That's not edgy, that's not feeling entitled or anything like that. That's an absolute fucking fact of life, and there are entire business models built upon this on the internet, like all of the content aggregating sites. Like, go look at your fucking Facebook feed, go look at the 50 million, look at these 14 different ways that I can dress up my dog to look like a blah blah blah. Like, I mean, that's how
BuzzFeed exists.
Yeah, like, and these sites, like, make fuck tons, like, so much fucking money on the internet. It's disgusting how much money content aggregators make, or, you know, like, look at these top 50 states that are blah blah, you know, shit, whatever, bullshit like that. So that's a fact of life. It's cool if you think that's like an edgy thing to say, but it's an absolute fucking fact. The last thing I was gonna say, and again, this is I almost want to say devil's advocate, but I can see the good in it too. Another reason why Reddit was against self-promotion originally is because Reddit did want to give people, like, a sense of feeling like you're all kind of parts of communities, and the people, you know, posting content or whatever are also taking part in community discussions, etc., etc. Because it does leave, I can see how it can leave a bad taste in some people's mouths if the only way that you participate in the community is to stop by and drop your content and then peace the fuck out. There's always that guy at a college party who will show up, like, the last, like, you know, like, he'll show up and, like, for 5 minutes and hang out, and they'll be like, okay, hey guys, like, let's all go over to some other blah blah blah, like, every fucking time. It's like, why do you even come here? Like, you just come here to, like, take, like, what the fuck, dude? To give a personal example, when I first started getting into the streaming and I first wanted to grow my stuff, like, my approach was to always try to find ways. I'm trying not to suck myself up too much here, but I would never just like run to other communities and just link drop, and if I spam it enough, like, and upvote and people, and then I got content shit. My goal was always to try to get people who follow me to grow organically within those communities. So whether that was by being a part of the community, like, there are different communities online that I'm part of that I would, you know, share my content with, or whether that was talking to other people who are part of who have been long time parts of those communities to get them to talk about my content and then to post something, so that, you know, there's like organic growth. Like, this guy who's been part of this community for a long time, you know, mentions a video and we all kind of like it and we all talk about it, blah blah blah, and then you get kind of growth from there, versus, oh, this guy with 2 posts just showed up, hey, go click on my YouTube, blah blah blah, and then you click, okay, like, you know, like, I feel like obviously, with Reddit available now, you don't necessarily, I say you don't have to work as hard on the marketing. I don't even feel bad about that. Actually, it's entirely true. You really don't have to work as hard on the marketing, versus trying to make it grow, like, organically in different areas. But I can see why people would prefer the latter versus just kind of the link spam, you know?
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, why don't we conclude the Reddit talk here? That's nice hour-long conversation there. Definitely lots to say. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let's move on to MLG qualifiers, Steven. You were just you know, casting some of that with with Cats, and, you know, there was actually a Reddit there. Speaking of Reddit, there was a Reddit thread that was started that was actually praising you guys, and then you kind of went in the comment about talking about just how, I guess the chat was just saying how root centric it was and that sort of thing.
Oh,
so.
the comment that I posted, I just reposted some other guy's thing that was really funny.
Oh, is that
I don't know if
okay.
people. I probably shouldn't have, because they
know.
wanted. Some guy was saying that like, oh, like I guess like root rigged the qualifiers by having people playing in the house, or I don't know. So I like reposted that because I thought it was funny. But then people upvoted me. I don't know if they upvoted me because they thought I was being sarcastic by echoing the other guy, or if they thought I was being sincere. I probably should have clarified. But
yeah, actually.
the people in the root house are all they all live like upstairs, like they're upstairs. Like there's no possible fucking way that anybody can hear like what's being casted, like. But yeah.
You think there's anything to, I guess, having, you know, obviously the owner of Root be casting it when there's so many players?
I mean, it was an open qualifier. Like,
yeah.
Like what? What's the accusation that I'm even talking about? I mean, it was open qualifiers. Like, I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Oh, it's just more so. Do you think Cats? I guess the question is do you think Cats is ever more, you know, obviously more when it comes to his casting, just going to be more favorable.
A little bit biased towards his own players.
Yeah, biased towards
I mean, yeah, sure. In the same way that I'm biased against all Protoss players because they're scumbags.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. But I mean, like, you have to know that a little bit going in. Like, I don't think anybody would ever expect anybody to be completely and totally unbiased against their own teammates. But that being said, I don't think I don't remember Cats casting a Root player and sounding insanely biased. I could be wrong. If somebody remembers.
Richard, stop typing.
Sorry.
I could be wrong, but I don't remember Cats being insanely biased towards like a Root member, like saying they were playing perfectly or whatever.
Desbro says bias as fuck.
What? Who was?
That's what Desbro said.
He says he's biased as fuck.
I don't know.
He's I'm biased. So I got a question. Like, so is Game On like? I'm kind of like a bad person to have on the show because I'm actually more interested in esports politics than esports. Sometimes is Game On like you and Cats?
This is the right show, dude.
So, like, this is where you and Cats, like, Game On is, like, a white label project for you guys to do stuff, or?
Does white label mean free of prior obligations?
Yeah, well, like, I mean, like, Game On is a catch-all, so you can do event activation for, like, company, like, you hosted these qualifiers, for example, under MLG, but, like, Game On is, like, a brand.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily tied to MLG, so, yeah, like, white label. Because when I saw like your announcement,
I mean, it
seemed like
started
you
with
were...
MLG, right? Didn't it?
Well, no, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Or go ahead.
Let's go in. Well, like from what I gathered, they understood that MLG was the streaming platform for them, but it was like never. You and MLG aren't necessarily in bed with one another. Like, is it just? I mean, like, you've always been sort of ahead of the curve, and Paulo seemed like he's always been a business savvy guy. So, like, is Game On just like a white label agency for you guys? Like, you guys have your team and your personal projects, but you also run stuff for other companies.
Yeah, let's go with, yeah. I guess to dumb it down or whatever. I'm pretty sure this. I've never heard the term white label before. Excuse me, I'm not as business savvy as you. No, I'm just kidding. But I assume by white label you mean Can you explain what you mean exactly by that?
Like, for example, EG will host.
Yeah.
ESL will host stuff for people, but it's not an ESL project. They'll host.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay.
So you put their name on somebody
Gotcha,
else.
yeah,
exactly.
That's
so you do the work, someone else puts the name on it.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. So basically, Game On is created to kind of evade prior obligations. That sounds really bad, but it gives you the opportunity to host and work with events that you might not be able to due to prior sponsor commitment otherwise. So that makes sense. So like, let's say that let's say
your
like
obligations with Twitch, maybe.
I don't have any obligations. I don't know. No, but like I said, I don't know how much I can tell you about this because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But like, I'll give you an example. Like, let's say I'm, for instance, sponsored by Phoenix, right? And let's say Razor's like, hey, we want to pay $250 million for you guys or for somebody to do some event or whatever, right? So then I might say like, well, okay, well, under the Destiny brand, I can't do that, but I could cast for Game On and do it. Does that make sense? Kind of like that?
Okay, word. Okay, word.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. And
Yeah.
it was a curiosity, so now we can actually get back to the qualifiers and the results. I was just curious.
I think it's I guess to put it your way, white label. Sure, it's just a white label thing that doesn't have like it's not tied into any super commitment, so it's flexible to kind of do what it wants. And you know, if that means that Cats can't be involved in a certain thing or I can't be involved in a certain thing, it's okay because the Game On brand kind of stands on its own, and you could bring in somebody.
Right.
So like, let's say for instance, you say like the commitments with Twitch, right? Let's say Cats has a huge commitment with Twitch, where Twitch is like, you can't fucking do anything with the MLG, blah blah blah. Instead of Cats being like, oh well, fuck, like Root did all of this stuff, and now it's like fucked. cats will be like, okay, well, I've got to step back from, the GameOn.gg thing, but it still exists as its own separate brand with its own reputation and, blah, blah, blah. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so with the qualifier, just how was it, Steve? Like, I didn't get a chance to catch much of it. I saw, I guess, the winners and stuff on Reddit, but overall, how was it?
It seems okay. I'm getting really bored watching and casting StarCraft 2. I still don't. I like playing it for whatever reason. I'm liking playing it more, but I'm getting more bored with watching and casting it. I don't like the fucking 5-10 minutes of nothing happening into one battle into games. And it's like driving me fucking crazy. Maybe I'll watch more Korean games. Maybe it's not the same there or European games or whatever. But I mean, for the most part, like the games were okay. There weren't like any like total raffle stomps or crazy, like noob shit. The games were pretty good. There were. Oh man, I think Huck ended qualifying. Yeah.
Yeah, Huck did.
Huck, Major.
Huck, Puck, Major are the North Americans.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Polt and Violet.
Yep.
And there was one more.
Let's guess. I don't want to have to look it up. I feel so bad.
I thought it was It was 3 Terran players, right?
Yeah.
Major, Polt, and Illusion?
Illusion.
Yeah, Illusion.
Yes,
Yeah, Illusion came out. Yeah. Illusion surprised me.
Dude,
3 Terran players.
Shout out to Chris. Chris had a really shitty year last year.
Oh gosh.
Which was nuts because his 2012 was so promising. Like he was just this young upstart kid. EG almost signed him in 2012.
I remember that.
And then he fell flat.
Is that trip to Korea, man? That Korean trip just hurt him so bad.
Mao's was just like a pretty lackluster. It was lackluster for both parties, from my understanding. And he actually played a lot of League of Legends last year. Just like his dirty little secret, but that's so fucking sick that he's starting to do really well again. He's playing a lot.
Yeah.
I saw him streaming this morning. A lot of potential, man. He's so young.
He's really good too. His style is very unpredictable. His micro is very good too. The standout to me though was Violet. Oh my fucking god, Violet just every single game he played was a different build. There was no Violet strategy. There was no oh, Violet always does this. Every game was a different build. Every game, the timings on so many things felt like they were just hanging on a razor fucking edge, but they would always work when he did it. I don't know if he was just getting lucky or if he has been playing a lot and rehearsing a lot of different shit, but oh man, he was crazy fucking versatile. His execution was top notch on every game, and he seemed to be playing really fucking well. I hope that carries over to MLG, because Violet coming back onto the scene, that would be a really big story. Yeah.
I mean,
he's really well liked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's an amazing. He did he was should be the poster child for every Korean, where you make a huge fucking effort to learn how to speak English, and you get all the white people to like you, and then you pick up sponsors and blah, kind of what MC tries to do a little bit. But Violet was really well at that. It really sucks that Violet got raped by the visa issues and whatnot, because that was a huge setback to somebody that honestly, in my opinion, put in more work than any other Korean.
It was a year. It was basically a year off for Violet, which was
bad. It was he missed 2 WCS NA finals just because of his visa, and those things are so tricky. A lot of people gave him shit for him. Those things are just it's so incredibly difficult to just manage just all the paperwork that's necessary, and then it's a tremendous. It actually takes a tremendous financial commitment too from normally the team. So. Shout out to Andrew's crew for getting that sorted out, because I know that was a huge stressor for him.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that I don't think the community is quite clear on, just with the whole Andrew, and people were blaming Andrew when it really wasn't totally Andrew's fault. So it's one of these days we'll have him come on and explain everything. But yeah, I mean, basically Violet and Polt, two guys that are basically I guess the model of Koreans pretty much coming over to U.S. learning English, and I mean. Polt even co-casted one of those, what was it, a DreamHack or an ESL event, and he was actually decent too. So being able to speak English to that point, I mean to that extent, is actually really, really great. But yeah, Violet, I think Violet's been playing a lot. It's just been nobody's been talking about it.
People always say Violet's got 5 accounts that are top 100 GM in Korea or whatever. I've never known if that's true or not, but people always say that he's been playing a lot in Korea and whatnot.
Well, I mean, ever since he got the visa, I think he's been kind of under the radar, but I think he's been practicing a lot.
It's certainly one of those things that I mean, these people still work when folks aren't paying attention to them. Yeah. It was a really successful qualifier though The interesting thing for me though is StarCraft is starting to have this, not necessarily a renaissance, but you're really starting to see it come. Last year was a little dire. I think the attitude was really negative with StarCraft, but in these third-party tournaments like DreamHack, I think is really done extremely well. IM did extremely well. MLG bringing StarCraft back, this is where these events sort of shine. And at WCS on the whole, I still find lackluster, but it's like sick to just see like these are still really interesting, compelling events.
We just lost the final, just qualified for WCSEU, so
Yeah.
it's just
that's good, and but that's kind of weird. Like that's like
Yeah.
sometimes these qualifiers are actually more interesting than WCS.
Yeah.
On the whole, their numbers were still good though. Like I was actually surprised that their numbers were that good. For the finals in season 1, I didn't think they were going to be that great.
Yeah. All right,
I think that goes. I think a lot of it goes along with that. That setting expectations or whatever.
Yeah.
We talked about earlier, like the big damage that like those cash grabs do. One of the worst things that happens is that StarCraft 2 is when people pump a whole bunch of money into something and it doesn't actually turn out the way that we expected it to, then you enter that huge, like that, everybody calls it a bubble pop, right? Which is exactly what happened. And in 2011, you had people dumping all this money into team houses, dumping huge amounts of money into teams, dumping huge amounts of money into players, into tournaments, totally unsustainable shit, you know? And then as a result of that, you know, 2012 rolls along, the late 2012, early 2013, and everybody's still in the red and there's no black in sight. It's like, fuck that, and everybody just pieces the fuck out. And then what happens is, it looks like, wow, you know, like there's no money, there's no, everything is fucked, blah, 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 blah. When in reality, it's just the actual amount of money that everybody should have been earning was like a fourth of what was actually happening. So it looks really bad, you know, when you take that plunge back down to reality. But now that we're actually have been in reality for like the past like 6 months, and you see like a little bit of growth or...
Definitely
well, no, when I say reality, like I mean like people being kind of like okay-ish. Like the dead game, you know, hasn't been as big a topic as it was like 3 or 4 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Like people still kind of say it every now and then, but like, you know, like go back 6 months ago, dead game, assholes like Destiny posting on Reddit, you know, like all sorts of people like saying dead game on every fucking StarCraft Reddit thread. But now that we're kind of like settled back into an area that we're comfortable with, there's not really room for any more big explosions. Like ESL is probably not about to go under. DreamHack is doing okay. NASL left, but I mean they've kind of always been on the fringe, if we want to be honest, right? With the World of Tanks kind of propping them up. So like we're not really in an area anymore where like we can be like majorly fucking disappointed. You know, like our expectations are managed. Like there's going to be WCS is probably still going to happen as long as Blizzard puts money into it. ESL is okay. DreamHack is okay, and then MLG wants to come back, and that's actually like it's a good thing. And now we're like here where we don't expect everything to be multi-billion-dollar awesome shit. Yeah. We're not trying to be League of Legends or Dota. We're comfortable with where we're at, and it makes things feel a lot more healthy than either chasing imaginary bubbles or bubbles popping.
I think this is the year that Dota slows down too, though. Like I was one of the.
Wow.
I was. Oh
really?
God. Yes, I do.
Oh shit.
I do.
Dear God, Cody, what the fuck have you just done, man?
Oh, Dota dead game?
No. Getting to him, man.
No.
I wouldn't even say that. Are you fucking crazy?
I said slow down. Like I'm being realistic. I think.
Yeah, that's all it's gonna take to get you fucking stalked by a bunch of fucking Dota fanatics.
Real quick, just a real quick thing, Cody. Please, can you make sure that those curtains stay closed? Because if people can identify where you live, if they get open, like I'm worried about where this conversation's going. All right.
I was doing so well, so I was just looking at chat, and they were like really liking me, and I was like, man, I've done great. I just think it's so bad. I think it's going to slow down. So there's a culture of amongst like big players in esports. There's a culture of brinkmanship. Like you just constantly kind of push one another's buttons until you just sort of drop out. By slow down, I mean like for example, I'm not as extreme as Kenneget, where Kenneget tweets that he's like losing his mind over, you know, having to watch like Navi and Alliance play each other 16 times a week. But like D2L runs an event. Eventually, they're gonna draw the line in the sand where this is where they're gonna spend. Eventually, D2CL is gonna draw the line, and this is where they're gonna spend. And as time is a resource, like eventually, like that resource becomes like really important. So you're gonna have to start picking what leagues you play in. So I don't think at the end of 2013 that there's going to be a billion and a half leagues. I still think it's going to be really thriving. I still think it's going to be in the top 4. I think the top 4 esports of the year are going to be League of Legends in a pretty commanding, comfortable lead. Jesus Christ. I think Dota 2 will be there. I think Counter-Strike Go will be there. And this is where I like fucking lose.
Here we go. I'm getting ready for this.
This is where anyone who is a fan of mine for this brief 2-hour period stops. I think Hearthstone will be number 4. dude,
That's not
mobile
that
is just
bad.
so
I
fucking nuts.
don't even
MOBA is nuts.
Oh, they
There
released
we
it
go.
on
Boom,
tablet.
boys. Wrap them up.
I was gonna
Mobile
bring
is
that up
so
when we
nuts.
talked about DreamHack too, you little
When they
bitch.
got
Mobile
that
is
on
so
the
nuts.
iPad or whatever, if they could
It's
get Hearthstone to fucking Android, holy shit!
Destiny,
Steven, it's
speaking my
coming out on
language. This is
iPhone,
just
I think,
a
later this
tremendous
year than Android.
opportunity. Like, it's
People
a
have
whole new
no
sales.
fucking people have no fucking idea. Nobody watching has any fucking idea. The market, if you could tap into mobile
How
with a
many times
game
have I
like
said
Hearthstone,
that?
like you're instantaneously more popular than League of Legends if you can do that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
without even fucking trying, you're more popular than League of Legends if you
How
can
many
tap into
times
the
have I
fucking.
said that on this show?
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
Jesus Christ, guys. God. I mean, yes, mobile numbers like dwarf any numbers that you guys know in PC and console. So it's we're talking like 100,000 downloads a day if it's a popular game. You know what I mean? So
It's fucking
like,
insane the amount of money that you can make in the
Yeah.
mobile market. Like, there's a
So
reason
it's
why
number
there are
one.
so many people trying to figure out the the blah blah, the fucking pushing their bullshit market, mobile shit by doing all these weird fucking sales thing. Flappy Bird guy makes like fucking $40,000 a day, fucking out of nowhere. Like, it's
not
the
even
mobile
trying,
market is
not even trying,
insane.
that guy. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, I think the iPad version was.
Sales
Anyway,
is really nice. Like leaks. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember. Do anyone remember Sony Xperia fucking all over MLG?
yes.
Like, you
Yes.
you have a tournament where everyone plays
Oh gosh.
Hearthstone on the fucking whatever tablet there is. Guys, it wasn't that controversial. I said League of Legends, Dota 2, Counter-Strike Go, and then I think Hearthstone.
I think people are taken aback by
StarCraft
the
2.
word esports with Hearthstone, with the card game. And
It's a
and
competitive game. Here's the thing. My
people-
Bible is Twitch TV/directory. That's like that is my
Camsy.
Bible. That is I look at that like 60, 50 million times a day.
Anyone who thinks Hearthstone can't be a successful esport needs to look at the Magic the Gathering tour and just do a bit of research into that.
There's millions of
because
dollars of prize money in
the
that.
Magic the Gathering tour run by Wizards of the Coast is pretty much actually, I think esports has probably borrowed more from that format, you know, than
Oh wow, really?
because if you look at all the pro tours and how they're set up, and it's been around since the fucking 80s. I know there's lots of people in esports that have looked at collectible card game, of that nature, and Magic the Gathering, that pro tour, and have brought that into, elements of the tours that we do in esports. I'm pretty sure some of the CPL people were hyper aware of what Magic the Gathering were doing. So the idea that a card game can't be a successful esport, well, esport actually owes a debt to Magic the Gathering before esports was a thing. So again, people just being more.
We're talking about Magic the Gathering, and like Hearthstone is like much more elegant in the standpoint of producing it and showing it right to a mass audience, and
it's already on like a digital platform, so transferring it to mobile is a lot easier than taking like Magic the Gathering. Although I'm sure Magic the Gathering exists in some online variation too, right?
Those Chinese engineers made the Hearthstone a Hearthstone copy in like a week or something like that. It was pretty funny. But yes, so Hearthstone is out, and I mean, looking at the numbers, I mean, it's hard to, like, the ESL guys who did like I think the Katowice had like a 4-man invitational that was just like literally just throw anybody with Artosis and Nimsh and Lothar and whoever. And I mean, it got like what 40 or something watching the stream. I mean, and that wasn't even an organized event. Like Bucharest is going to be a 128-man open event or something like that. So
Twitch TV/directory is the gospel.
Yeah.
Like
Top 3.
I think it always does very well. It's very easy for Blizzard to monetize, which means it's probably going to get more attention internally, which sometimes makes a big difference. And I just think it's a good game. I mean, like a lot of people that just talk about.
You going pro?
No, man. I lost a round of 64 yesterday, so it's a fucking wrap. But I think it's going to be really good, and I think they're Blizzard, and they got a lot of flack like last year. So like them knocking Hearthstone out of the park, like being the first real big esports gaming company to break into mobile, I think is just like such a tremendous thing. Like imagine the sales team. Like if I'm ramping up preparing for Hearthstone for Android, and it comes with, it's like Steven said, Android is the key. Apple is not going to give a fuck because they just don't. They're not a company that like really cares about these sort of things. But Android, I mean, like I said, I realistically imagine by the end of the year there's going to be a Hearthstone tournament where everything is played on a certain tablet or something. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's only on iPad right now. It's not even on the iPhone quite yet. And part of it does have to do with just the real estate on the actual devices, right? I mean, it's really, really nice on the iPad right now. It's almost perfect from the standpoint of being able to drag, the actual UI and
I
that
think
sort of
a
thing.
lot of phones today do 720p very easily.
Oh, I'm not saying that the quality. I'm saying
1080p.
it's just a matter of like, how do you select that card that's like kind of small? If you have fat ass fingers and shit, you know what I mean, on a phone. It's a little bit harder in that regard, but that doesn't mean that they won't release it and it potentially could do well. But right now, iPad's #1 in the U.S. #1 in whatever Australia, New Zealand. It's #1 pretty much wherever it's been launched. It helps that it's featured. Okay, I mean anything featured is going to get like a huge boost. But yeah, it's definitely off to a good start, and I think iPhones later this year and Androids later this year. You can hear more about it on Value Town, guys, this week on Thursday. But
this makes me want to play Hearthstone. I didn't even consider it until thinking about the idea that it could go.
I told
like,
you.
mobile or
Oh my
whatever.
god, I had a beta key for
Oh
this
my God.
fool.
Oh my God.
On the second, third, I don't even remember, and you didn't want it. Such a loser, man.
You want to know the sad thing? Here's my gloom and doom prediction. My gloom and doom is that it actually is able to go mobile, but since Blizzard is just a slow company to respond to fucking anything and they end up botching everything, some other company is going to release a lookalike that's going to end up doing 20 times as better, 20 times as well as Hearthstone, a la fucking League of Legends. And it's going to be like, it's going to be League of Legends and Dota versus StarCraft, not doing shit with their IPs like all over again.
Alright, time to get bashed
that's my gloom and doom.
Time to get bashed for being like a Blizzard, like a Blizzard
Fanboy?
lover and
dude, I tell you what, man. Like, I'm keeping one
Thank
eye on the chat. Well, I know you always say not to do it, but holy shit, there's some tinfoil hat wearing, inbred motherfuckers in the Twitch chat tonight. I am not even kidding. Like, are these people for fucking real? They can't be real people.
Anyway,
the shit they're saying. I said something nice about Magic the Gathering, and a Magic the Gathering fan is in the chat telling me, like, how dare I even talk about it? Like, seriously, you unwashed virgin. What the fuck?
Well, anyways, getting back to it, the Hearthstone team, it seems to operate a little bit separately than like what we traditionally think as like the large StarCraft 2 teams and Diablo and stuff like that.
It's interesting to pay attention to what teams do and don't pick them up, man. I've been in Alex Garfield's ears telling him Reynad's a perfect pick, and he's been...
Reynad has his own team, man.
Yeah, but that's going to last about 5 minutes. It's so difficult to fund those things. It's so... The amount of logistics is just through the roof. Like,
yeah, but at least
the fact that Katz can be a player and still run his own StarCraft team impresses me day in and day out. Like, it's just a huge headache.
It is. It definitely is. But anyway, so getting back to it... I mean, we should talk about DreamHack too. So DreamHack obviously is going to have the Hearthstone event, which is truly the biggest open event to date.
It's not DreamHack Open, actually, though. That's interesting. It's,
DreamHack.
Romania is running it. So, like, Romania is... I talked to Mike about this in depth. Mike was very adamant that I make sure I understand what's going on. So, it's... DreamHack is... It's like a franchise, I guess. Like, so, DreamHack Romania runs this. Any of the tournaments that DreamHack approves, they make sure that DreamHack Opens go to, but it's not necessarily DreamHack proper.
Yeah.
So DreamHack proper is not hosting this tournament.
So Mike has nothing to do with it.
If DreamHack can franchise, why is there no American DreamHack shit?
You gotta, I mean, like, they still have, there's like quality control and stuff, like, I presume.
Hey, Robert promised 9/11, man. When the hell is that gonna happen? DreamHack gonna be? He promised us promised us a long time ago, climbing the ladder. 9/11.
What Chris just said, Robert Olin didn't threaten to perpetrate 9/11 again. I think you should probably clarify. He said he was going to host it on September the 11th, though. He did say that.
I thought he said 2014, but the bastard lied to me.
I don't know about that date. I feel like something happened, and probably as an esports event would be a bad idea on that date. I don't know.
It was definitely a bad joke. But so anyways, Bucharest. I'm surprised. I mean, there's been some talk about Bucharest, in StarCraft, and I think they talked about it on Meta and the other shows, but I don't know. I just feel like there hasn't been as much hoopla about it as I would expect, given that it's this week.
I included they just released the DreamHack Open, so like for StarCraft, if you look under, I think it's really good. I know.
I'll link it to
everybody here. Mike's my boy, so I don't want to tug him off too much, but like I think Mike worked really hard to. I know he was personally reaching out to people to make sure that like some of these competitors got brought in, and I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, the player pool looks really good. They've got some obviously notable Koreans in there. All the Europeans everybody loves too. So
I mean, like, you got a lot of the gem folk here. I see Yoda in here. Todd's coming over, which is always great. Like, he is. I mean, like, he normally wears his casting hat, but I think he's still a very good player. I'm trying to look. I know he coaxed what was remaining from the Red Bull squad, or he said, or I might actually have just fucked him because it's not announced yet.
well, I mean, they're all here. I mean, the competitors are all here, right?
JD Huck, like, I think this is going to be a really good event, and like I said earlier, I really think where StarCraft shines is in third-party tournaments. I think that's so much more interesting than WCS. I think WCS is a great opportunity. It gives, like, players the chance to, like, make money and stuff to work on. But, like, I really think that third-party tournaments are where they shine. And I think DreamHack of, like, I don't know. I'm a DreamHack fanboy, so I think this will be a really great event for them.
Yeah.
They also have.
I was thinking maybe we could call Thorin to ask his idea about, if it's an event in an Eastern European country, maybe we can go over to what.
Yeah, did you see Thorin was getting some hate in the League of Legends subreddit recently for that tweet he made about Nine or whatever?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Is it Nine or Nian? How the fuck do you pronounce his name?
Nian Tonso.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw that. I saw at least that part of the Summer's Inside or whatever.
He made the fatal error of going against popular players, which is a journalist. You have to learn never to do that. Ever.
Never do that.
It doesn't matter how right you are. The fucking popular player trumps anything you're gonna say ever.
But it was really funny because people in the thread were linking where, like, Nyan had said things about Chaox when Chaox had retired about how, like, why would you say you're the best in the fucking world? Like, well, like, I don't know, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I learned that. I mean, that was why I get so much shit in the League of Legends subreddit, because I wrote an editorial. Like, when Chaox gave that embarrassing, like, hey guys, I'm retiring. I've achieved everything there is to achieve except except anything worthwhile. And also, I was the best player in the world, so I'm going out at the top. But you were never awarded MVP, most valuable player in the world ever. That award didn't exist. You just made that up, Chaox. And we all know that basically no one wants to play with you, except teams that you deem to be too shit. So I called him out on it, and everyone was, like, aghast, like, in the League of Legends community, like, oh my god, like, you're telling the truth. Like, fucking people are idiots, dude. Yeah, so that was kind of amusing. But yeah, you just can't do it. Like, Thorin made a good point. Like, Nian Tonso, like, when he first got into the team, he was, like, playing really sick. He transitioned from another role. He wasn't a traditional top laner. Everyone said it was going to be bad, and he surprised everyone, and it was really good. And then just lately, he has sucked ass. I mean, there's no getting away from that. He's, like, gone missing in the big games. And a journalist, it's kind of your job to notice these things. But, like, Reggie came out and was like, leave him alone. And like Thorin just made the joke, because he's TSM. He wants CLG to suck ass. Of course he's going to say leave him alone. He wants him to play in CLG for as long as possible, so CLG are behind TSM for as long as possible. That was the joke. I mean, whether Thorin really believes that or not, I don't know. I won't speak for him. Why people got pissed off about it? I don't know. Thorin can't say anything at the moment. Ever since fucking Katowice Gate, he's done.
Katowice Gate. I mean, he was doing fine on. Summer's Inside. It's a good show. It's definitely.
Yeah, but again, I mean, like, so again, it sucks that we don't get to see Duncan on shows outside of the On Gamer, umbrella control, because he's got a lot of good fucking things to say.
I agree, man. Don't get me wrong. I love Duncan on here. I mean.
I know, but he can't do it. It's fucked up. So anyway, sorry.
So stop asking about Thorin, guys. Whenever he's ready, he can come on. He can come on Unfiltered anytime. All right. Why don't we take some call-ins? You guys up for call-ins? Let's take a quick break. I gotta get some water.
Take a quick break, man. This has been a good show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check out
hey guys, check out the Dota 2 subreddit. Yeah, Cody's like top 10.
Whoa! Check out the Dota 2 subreddit. Are you vote brigading shit?
No, I'm just saying, just check out, number 10. It's EG's Cody.
Oh my fucking lord!
It's been a really good show.
All right, we're going to break. We'll be right back.